So let's check in with the staff of individuals that are covering the racing action with us. Covering the action down in turn number 3, Gary Danko.
Well, thank you, Ben, and once again, good evening, everybody. Located just off the end of the back straightaway, on a scaffold about 20 feet up in the air as the cars are paired off in rows of 2. This is where we see some great side-by-side racing. Sometimes we'll see this division run 3 wide. Sometimes, well, it could be a little bit scary. We'll cover all that action from this end of the Speedway here this evening.
Well, we're about ready to go back to green. Go to green to start this race. We'll go down to the pits in a moment. The green flag is out. The race is underway.
Patrick Krenchman leads him down to the bottom of turn number 1. He'll set the pace, but Holgrim's reeling him in off turn 2. They head down the back straightaway. Battle is on for the 3rd spot down in turn 3.
Pasako down to the inside, Ricard up to the outside. And meanwhile, here comes car number 5, Chuck Zentarski. He's in the mix as well.
Well, Ricard on the outside trying to get squeezed up tight against the wall, trying to get around Pasako number 2 car as the 07 of Garrity trying to play the spoiler down low.
Off turn number 2, the battle is for 3rd. Pasako goes to the inside lane with him. The tail that wags the dog becomes Garrity. He'll take over position number 4. The blue and white WCCC radio car has a mission. It'll sing the songs of success in the 4th spot. Right there with him comes Zentarski. Here comes the Ford. More music to come out of car number 79 as they work their way to the bottom of turn 2.
Back in 8th position, challenging for 7. Jay Stewart in the 6th car, 4 positions back. Peterson in the 17, right in the mid-pack. They can see each other from where they are, but they got work to do as they come out of turn 4.
Stewart is well aware of the fact that Peterson will be following rather quickly. Stewart picks him off one at a time. He'll make the move to the bottom, try to take over the 6th spot. Meanwhile, bid for the lead off turn 2.
Carl Holmgren now looks for a lot of racing room down low. Krenchman up high. They run side by side here in turn number 3, but it looks like Krenchman will have the advantage. Side by side off turn number 4. Here comes Holmgren right down to the bottom.
Holmgren makes a bid for it. Can't do it this time. No room this time. The reservations were definitely canceled there, Tony. Battle is on. 6 cars make it 7. Bid for the lead off turn 2.
Nose to tail. It's Pat Krenchman showing away. Carl Holmgren Jr. runs in 2nd. Then it is Ryan Pasako. Then it is Garrity. Then Zentarski. Then Roy Houle. Jay Stewart. Nose to tail off of turn number 4.
And the field starts to spread out all the way back from the front straightaway to turn number 3 as everyone is starting to fit into their position, but the racing is going on between 4th, 5th, and 6th as these cars are all bunched together.
Throw a blanket over those 4 cars, and Stewart's right in the middle of that blanket. It is the car that works its way, threads the needle as the old saying goes. Give position number 6 to the black number 6. Stewart is marching to the front. Well, all that's been happening. Count back a little further. 3 car lengths behind Stewart. In the 9th spot, make that 10th. Here comes Jim Peterson. Peterson stands on the gas off turn 2.
Peterson starts to close in on that mix of cars there right in front of him. That is the Ricard machine. Also right there as well as the 82 of Lanigan. In the meanwhile, your leader, it's Krenchman. He leads them off the corner.
Well, they come down across the line. The field continues to stretch out. Our leaders remain the same. Brian Pasako in the number 2 car as they come out of turn 2, trying to close the gap.
Down the back straightaway, Pasako settles back into the 3rd spot. Holmgren's got a mirror full of yellow and black. That's the trick paint job on car number 2 as they work their way back to the line. Kretschman's got his hands full. He's got the best in hot pursuit of position number 1.
Zentarski in the number 8 car waiting for an opportunity as he lurks behind the number 2 car as we come out of turn number 2.
Well, it's a good battle down the back straightaway. It's still Krenchman showing away. Carl Holmgren runs in 2nd. Then it's Pasako. But here comes Zentarski. Zentarski tried to work up to the outside. Thought better of it. Tucks it back in line. Is now they'll exit off of turn number 4.
Pasako makes a bold move to the bottom. Holmgren still guarding that spot with aggression. Meanwhile, here comes Jay Stewart. He makes a bonsai move to the bottom. It does not work. He pulls it back into line. 5 cars make that 6. Run nose to tail down in turn 3.
And meanwhile, battle for 2nd. It is still Pasako down to the inside with car number 2. And meanwhile, Holmgren now caught up on the outside.
Holmgren on the outside as Pasako in the number 2 car. Now Zentarski in the number 8 car move around down on the bottom. And here comes Jay Stewart moving up to challenge for 4th place.
Jay Stewart certainly has a good handling race car right down on the bottom side of the speedway, as now he'll try to work to the inside of the Holmgren machine. They run side by side, but here comes Stewart. He'll have the advantage off the corner.
Stewart gets a tremendous bite to the bottom of the racetrack. The black and silver number 6 car has now moved in to the 4th spot. Where's Jim Peterson? He's back in the 9th position, challenging there. Back to the front of the field. Pasacco is all over Krenchman. Krenchman turning in a banner performance here tonight. Patrick Krenchman is so long overdue for a victory, he can taste it. Off the turn, here comes the battle for the lead.
Holmgren and the Garrity got together coming out of turn number 3, and then Holmgren's moving back into 0-4 even further as the battle coming off of 2 gets really tight.
We'll throw a blanket over the top 4 cars. Pasacco with car number 2 down to the inside. Up to the outside, it's Krenchman. But looking on down low, it's Zantarski, and he'll follow the tire tracks off of turn number 4.
On the 13th circuit, a brand new leader emerges at the front of the field. It is car number 2, the Botticello Incorporated machine, the Eagle Leasing sponsored car for Pasacco. Pasacco leads him down the back straightaway. The tail that wags a dog becomes car number 8. That, of course, is Zantarski. Here comes Stewart. He's making magic of his own off turn 4.
And 3 positions back. Peterson in the 17 trying to work it up, but he's got a crowd in front of him as he tries to close the gap. As the leaders now start to stretch out just a little bit, and Jay Stewart not able to close the gap. Off of turn 2. Watch the leaders pull away.
Well, it's a flashy yellow down here in turn number 3. Your 2 top cars. Ryan Pasacco in the lead. Zantarski now starts to close in. Then back there in third it is Jay Stewart, but now a battle for 4th off the corner.
Lap number 15 clicks off on the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. Pasacco is your leader. He took over the lead on lap 13. Here comes the 8, Zantarski off turn 2.
Zantarski's been very, very racy down low, trying to take that number 1 spot away from Pasacco, but still can't do it. And meanwhile, here he comes once again. He'll dive it right down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Fender to fender off of turn 4.
And they are rubbing paint. You can't tell who's yellow's on whose car. And Jay Stewart looking to make an advantage out of this as he's tucked in behind Zantarski in the 8 car. Jay Stewart in the 6, making a challenge off of 2 for 2nd place.
Stewart now pokes his machine out into the lead. Pasacco there in 2nd, but here comes Jay Stewart. Stewart down to the inside. Pasacco up to the outside. There in 4th it is the number 79 of Houle. He'll watch that battle off of the corner.
It's the old accordion squeeze play. Move down to the bottom of turn number 1. Stewart emerges as your 2nd place car. Houle with the Thunderbird. He's looking racy to the bottom. Well, all that's been happening. Guess who's moving to the front? It is Peterson. Peterson now makes the move down underneath Holmgren. Holmgren uses a lot of the racetrack to his advantage. Here comes Stewart. He'll take over 2nd.
Meanwhile, Big Bill Davis took a trip across the grass. Another car spins going into turn number 2, so we had 2 cars in the grass and a spinner, and after 18 laps, the yellow flag comes out for the very first time. I'll tell you what, Ben, the late model's putting on a wonderful show here, but boy, is this going to change the mix of things as the field gets all bunched back up.
There is no question about it. John Bowes will bring out the first caution of the event, 18 into the 35 laps here in this late model feature event. Just about 10 minutes after the hour here in the late model division at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Pit road does not open. Bob Botticello with the Alco Auto Body machine looked to head to the pits. He sees the red flag and thinks twice of it and pulls back into formation on the racetrack. There have only been 2 leaders so far in this event. Well, make that 3 leaders so far in this event. Among them being the 48 of Patrick Krenchman. On lap number 13, a new leader emerged. It was the Ryan Pasacco machine, car number 2. Then it was Zantarski who emerged next. He took over the lead, and he is the man that is the dominant car so far. But right there with him in the runner-up spot is a gentleman who's already been in the number 1 position tonight, and that is Pasacco with car number 2. Jay Stewart setting in the 3rd spot with car number 6. Stewart started this event back in the 11th position. Then it's the 79 of Roy Houle. He started 9th. He's up to the 4th spot. In the 5th position is your early leader, Patrick Krenchman with car number 48. Then it's the number 02 of Carl Holmgren. Started outside row number 1. He currently sets in the 6th spot. 7th spot is Jim Peterson. He started back in the 16th position. He's done well. Very cautiously, Tony. He's marched to the front of this field. Then it's the 07 of Scott Garrity, the number 11 of Yale, and the number 82 for the driver, of course, being Rick Lanigan, who's currently among the top 10 cars here. Atkinson will follow, followed by Vassar and Woody Pitcat. That's the way they stand currently, as the field now being told to cross over. Action continues down on pit road.
Yes, the Botticello car had a flat right rear tire. They're working on that. Sullivan is in. They're working on her car, and it looks like they're attempting to change the handling of the car because they've got the wrench in the back of the car, changing the setup on the suspension just a little bit as she pulls back out. Field is all doubled up and the lights off on the pace car, so we'll be going back to green in just a moment. We'd like to let the owner of a blue Chevy S10, Connecticut registration 2933KT, the battery test that you're conducting with your lights on, you need to end the test or you'll be borrowing jumper cables to go home.
Well, Tommy Blake is looking to pull out on the racetrack along with Conrad Cody with car number 19. They've doubled them up and paired them off. The lights are off on the safety vehicle. The pit road remains open at this point. It looks like we're about ready to go back to green flag racing. John Lipsky on the starter's stand with Tony Leckie. They'll look the field over. Jim Ward, the man who's leading the most laps here tonight, will tuck to the infield with that Mustang GT from Dylan Ford in Manchester, Connecticut. Showtime again off turn 4.
Zentarski must miss the start, and on the outside, Pasako with the lead. But as they go down into turn number 1 and 2, the 8 car for Chuck Zentarski comes out on top.
Zentarski shows the way. Pasako trying to hold up to the outside, but here comes Jay Stewart with car number 6. He's down low, trying to take that spot away. Trouble up between turns 3 and 4. Crenchman with car number 48 goes around. Everybody else tries to take evasive action. They angled out wide, and everybody else got around the spinning machine of Pat Crenchman.
Patrick Crenchman, who is running so strong here tonight, heartbreaking situation. Got a little bit too high on the racetrack with a little bit of a help. He goes around. He'll pick up at the rear of the field. No damage there. Everybody was able to scramble on by. So 22 here at the Stafford Motor Speedway with 35 laps the overall distance. Lap number 22, Zentarski is your leader. Pasako running in second, and Stewart in the third spot. Stewart is definitely the guy to watch when we double the field back up. Let's check you down in for a quick infield report.
While we've got a second, just to give you an update, Bob Botticello, of course, came down pit road. They changed a right rear tire. You saw a delay there. Apparently they were having some trouble with the air gun. Had to bring the other one across the wall, finally getting him down and away. And Conrad Cody came down, the number 19. Apparently he's very loose, can't get off at turn 4, so they made some adjustments and sent him back upstairs.
Well, Kim Hart giving us a quick update on what's happening down on pit road. We'll call this event the calm before the storm. Coming up next, 150 laps for the SK Modified Division, all brought to you in part by the good folks at Coors Light. We appreciate their continued support and dedication here. They make a big difference here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. You just witnessed the Coors Light 21 Means 21 event. That and more still left to be run. Feature event action of 150 laps. We're doubled up and ready to go racing. Let's check in with Gary Danko, who has the best seat in the house to watch him heading down towards turn 3.
Well, thank you, Ben. As they are paired off in rows of 2s, they found that beautiful pace car provided by Dylan Ford. I'll tell you, Ben, the car to keep your eye on is Jay Stewart with car number 6. He certainly has a good handling race car, a car that he can drop right down to the bottom side of the racetrack, or a car that he can work up to the outside. But I think right now Jay Stewart is very, very comfortable in that third spot, and it looks like he may follow the tire tracks when we go back to green.
We also should point out that Jim Peterson, the point leader, is setting back in the 6th spot. How does that all look? For those of you listening in on YahooBroadcast.com, he is 1 row behind to the outside as they go to green off turn 4.
This time the 8 car on the gas fast as Chuck Zentarski takes the lead as Ryan Pasako hung out on the outside, and Jay Stewart starts the challenge down below. Stewart off of 2, challenges for second.
Stewart now working to the inside of the Pasako machine as they run fender to fender between turns 3 and 4, but right behind them, here comes Carl Holmgren Jr. He's there in the 4th spot. He's looking for a racing room off the corner.
No question about it. Peterson needs to get around Holmgren. That seems to be the problem there. Yellow flag comes out on the field. It is the number 77 car that has...
Ricard, it's Ed Ricard, has gone behind the wall. He spun.
Possibly there might be some fluid on the racetrack. We'll see if the Simpson safety crew will come out and check that situation. We saw the 77 literally drop down to the center of pit road as it's still moving, but rather slowly. Let's check back down and check in there and see if there's more information.
Just real quickly, Ben Dodge, the number 77 of Ed Ricard, what they call grenaded a motor going on in the entry of turn number 3. So his night is done, and so is the racetrack, at least for a little bit. Back up to you.
Well, there's a driver that's got a ton of potential. He's shown well during the course of 2001, and he'll be back. He'll definitely be a contender and long overdue for a taste of victory here. Well, the field is in single file formation as we speak. 26 of the 35 are complete. The Simpson safety crew is getting a workout as they spread Speedy Dry right at the line of the turn where the number 77 let go, as the old saying was. And that is the cause for the caution here. Single file formation. We'll check back in with Raleigh Jacobs. Raleigh?
Right you are, Ben. While we have this moment, let's remind everybody of the contingency partners for our late model division. They include CarQuest Auto Parts, Loctite Corporation, New England Racing Fuel Sunoco brand, and the Lisa contingency in memory of Lisa Barry. And we also have the opportunity right now to call out some lucky numbers. Please break out your Pit Stopper magazines at this time. Open the cover and you will be staring right at some numbers. And if you have the lucky numbers, you'll win a prize. If you hear your numbers called, please report to the Speedway office before you leave tonight. Here we go. The first numbers, 98646. 98646. Next, we have 98968. 98968. Also, 98958. 98958. Next, 99000. 99000. 98989 is next. 98989. And finally, 98978. 98978. Those are tonight's winning numbers from the Pit Stopper magazine. If you heard your numbers called, report to the Speedway office. Pick up your prize before you leave tonight. We'd appreciate it very, very much. Well, things shaping up, Ben.
Yes, work still continues as the Simpson safety crew preparing the racing surface down at the bottom of the apex, entering turn number 4. 27 laps into the record books. Let's check back in with Gary Danko as he looks at the field as they are single file heading down towards him under caution. Gary?
Well, thank you once again, Ben, as the field works down through the Speedy Dry. The Speedy Dry has been applied just off the end of the back straightaway, right underneath the CarQuest logo there on the wall. And then the track crew is still working between turns 3 and 4, trying to get this cleaned up. And we should be back to green flag racing momentarily. But Speedy Dry is definitely between the end of the back straightaway and right there in the middle of turn number 3.
Well, the starter, John Lipsky, on the starter stand has crossed the field over. They've doubled him up. Always a double file restart here at Jackaroote Stafford Motor Speedway. It is designed for two things: to give the competitors the opportunity to be grouped together and to be able to have another shot at it. In addition to that, for the race fans that are in attendance, it gives them a show each and every time we go back to green. One of many creative ideas that come out of Jackaroote Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll tell you more about them later. But, Tony, it looks like we're about ready to go to green.
We are just about ready to go to green. And one thing I wanted to point out, that there's a couple of drivers that are normally up front. Larry Vassar, driver of the number 3 car, and Woody Pitcat in the 25, who did so well in the long-distance race for the late models. They are mired mid-pack, and they are running out of time if they're going to come up and challenge. The green flag about to come back out as we are tight coming out of turn number 4. Ben, the call is up to you.
It is a nice, tight, even start. They are going up through the gears as we speak. Off turn number 4, yellow is the color of the night, but black and formal is looking good for Stewart. He's trying to make some magic of his own in the outside lane. Meanwhile, it is Jim Peterson who's stuck in the line of fire, not the lane that moves the quickest as they head towards Gary.
Peterson up on the outside of the Hull machine, and Peterson gaining a lot of ground up there on the outside. Peterson certainly with a good handle on a race car. Car number 17, he's on his way to the front off the corner.
Well, it looks like the 0-2 of Kretschmann is now been dealt with as Jim Peterson has moved into 4th place and is now on the back bumper of Ryan Pisacco, who's doing everything he can to keep Stewart from getting by him on the back straightaway.
Look at Peterson. He came off the turn like a rocket. He is not letting Stewart or Pisacco get out of his side. Here comes Garrity. They come off turn number 4. 6 cars in a pack like a swarm of bees down in turn 1.
And here they go down into turn 1 as the number 8 car, Chuck Santarski, with a little bit of breathing room, but 2nd through 6th are so close that if somebody hiccups, the other guy is going to hear it.
Tony, no question about it. Great battle from second on back. Ryan Pasacco right now has the second position occupied, but the battle on the speedway now, Jim Peterson and Jay Stewart off the corner.
Peterson just stood on the gas. The car started to brake just again. He powered it off the turn. Jim Peterson is pumped up. This is a quiet gentleman, but he's screaming loudly as he takes over the third spot. Stewart can't believe his eyes. It is car number 17 up to the third spot. Pasacco reels back in on Zantarski. Single file off turn 4.
Now you know the spotters are telling their drivers where they are and where the competition is. Jim Peterson has moved all the way up as we got a car around in the middle of the back straightaway. Number 37 has spun on his own. Tommy Blake put the car in the grass and has resulted in a yellow flag with 33 of 35 laps completed.
Well, you have to wonder what this does to what the drivers are thinking when they come into the closing stages of an event like this. The guy who has really shown well tonight, he is pumped up as the point leader, is Jim Peterson. Now, Peterson, we mentioned going into tonight's event, has a good lead in the point standings. How good? Well, one might say a 40-point lead is real good, but not good enough for Jim Peterson. Jay Stewart, who came on so strong in the early laps of this event, is setting in second, just 40 points behind. Mark Atkinson is third. Chuck Zantarski, who leads this event, is setting back in the fourth spot, 126 points behind. And Woody Pitkat, as Tony had mentioned, he's had a tough night so far, but he is wavering among the top 10 cars here. 34 of the 35 laps are into the record books. And there's no question about it, Chuck Zantarski is looking stronger than ever here tonight.
Chuck Zantarski, they changed the color scheme on the car. Chuck sold the car last year because his business was requiring so much time. So now the owners of the car are preparing it for Chuck, and Chuck just comes up and drives the car, tells him how he wants it adjusted. And the teamwork between the two has really started to pay off because that car has been consistently up front. And even the change in color, they say, has had an effect on the way the car runs. The black seem to slow them down a bit.
Well, Chuck Zantarski, a very popular and colorful driver, both on and off the racetrack. He is a real gentleman, and he knows how to get the most out of his equipment. When everything is right, he will put it to the front and put it into CarQuest Victory Lane. Pasacco's had one of those up and down seasons. He's been close on many occasions. Not an awful lot of luck. But for the men who sat in the second row, the story has been a different one. They have been strong each and every time out. They're both a lot alike in character. They're tall individuals, very hard-working, and they know how to handle a race car. They would be considered the craftiest of veteran drivers. And for 2001, if either one of these drivers would become the champion, there's not a bad choice in the house. They are well deserving of the title, and they have given the fans here at Stafford a run for the money so far. Stay tuned. There's more to follow. Let's go to Gary as he looks at them before we go back to green.
Well, Ben, right up here, once again, it is Chuck Zantarski with car number 8 to the inside, to the outside, Ryan Pasacco. Then it's a great battle. Those are the gentlemen who lead the point standings. Jim Peterson, your leader, and Jay Stewart, who currently runs in second. Certainly when we go back to green flag racing conditions, this is going to be an interesting restart. No question about it, Ben.
Here they come, paired off, Tony. We're looking to go back to green off turn number 4. Place your bets now.
I'll tell you what, down on the bottom of the racetrack, the acceleration has been better for Zantarski, but look at Pasacco on the outside making a challenge, and Peterson and Stewart are rubbing and swapping paint as Stewart slides out to the outside, and here comes Peterson challenging for second spot down the back straightaway.
Peterson looking for racing room down low. He's right on the back bumper of Zantarski. Peterson trying to dive in right down to the bottom side of the racetrack as they work off turn 4.
The white flag is out. There's no surrendering in the quest to get to the front of this one. Peterson all over Zantarski. He'll dive to the bottom. The fans are jumping up and down in their seats. A brand new leader emerges down in turn 3.
For the final time down here in turn number 3, it is Peterson showing away. Jay Stewart is running second, but then the battle's on for third as they work off turn number 4 for the final time.
Here they come to the line. The checkered flag is out. It's going to be Jim Peterson with Jay Stewart finishing in second, and Roy Houle in 79 came up and slid through all that carnage and managed to finish in third spot as Chuck Zantarski, who led lap after lap, was fettered back to fourth spot when he and Ryan Pasacco started banging fenders together.
Well, there's no question about it. Jay Stewart pulls alongside of Jim Peterson, gives him the thumb up, thumbs up and says, what a race, and what a race it was. Jim Peterson has come into his own. This is a very talented, versatile driver. He's showing his muscle and showing his talent once again as Peterson is back in the winner's circle. How important was this win? Well, it will expand his point lead even more. But when you look at the list of who's done what and why, you'll discover that Jim Peterson is the first individual with 4 feature event victories to his credit here at Stafford during the course of the 2001 season. That'll increase his performance average in excess of 2.0. Right now, there's a lot of excited folks down in CarQuest Victory Lane as a very deserving Jim Peterson really gave him a run for the money.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Jay Stewart also. He put on a terrific show. They both moved up from way back in the field from 11th and 17th spots.
Of course, we have a very happy Jim Peterson down here in CarQuest Victory Lane. Getting congratulations from the kids. Jim, if you could step over here for a moment. Now, I was reading earlier that, you know, for several years you've had 2 wins in a season. This year you had 3. You were happy to have that. How do you feel about 4?
4 is awesome. Can't say enough about Pettit Racing Engines, Johnson Chassis. Super job on the car every week, and I just got to steer it.
Now, what I also hear is this the first night ever that you won with your kids up in the stands?
Yeah, little James and Rosalie are here, and this is their first time they're here when Dad won.
What was the key tonight? You were really strong at the end. Tell us about those last few laps.
Chuck was backing way off trying to protect the bottom, and I had Jay on me, and I know Jay's strong, and he was coming. So we made the move on the last lap, and we got him.
Well, congratulations to you on your 15th career win, I believe. Congratulations to Jim Peterson. Making a dent in those points once again. The guy that he's making the dent with the points with is Jay Stewart, and we'll go back now to Bruce Fontaine as he talks to our second place finisher.
Thank you very much, Kim Hart. I'll tell you what, Jay Stewart, what a feature.
I'll tell you, it was too bad that I got on the outside on those last couple restarts because I think I had the car to win tonight. But we salvaged a second out of it, and you know, he snuck by me on that restart, and Jim did, and I'm happy with a second because for a while it looked like I was going to get stuck out there. But I'll tell you, I got to thank Diamond Sparkle Car Wash, Expert Auto Glass, and Jervis Home Improvement, and all the guys, Greg and Jiggs, that helped with the car, and Chris, and I just got to thank for a great season.
Now, look like you got, previous to that last restart, you look like you guys got shuffled back a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, one of the restarts, there was a little bit of speedy dry up there, and we were just hanging on for life. And I was just glad that we came out of there, you know, pretty decent, and we were holding our own and just waiting for the end of the race so we can get an opportunity to get that back on the bottom again.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you did a fine job, Jay. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Jay Stewart, he finishes second tonight in a fine run. And just remember, Jim Peterson only had gained 2 points on him. Kim?
And I'm standing here with Roy Houle, the driver, the number 79. Roy, all of a sudden there at the end, you were there. This is the second time you've been up on the podium. How did you get there tonight?
It was a lot of luck tonight. My car started getting really slippery loose. I was just barely hanging on to it. And the 8 and the 02, or the 2, got together a little bit, and then I just opened it up and I was able to sneak underneath them.
Like I said, this is the second time this season up on the podium. Is this going to help turn your season around a little bit?
I hope so. We need some more finishes like this.
Okay, Roy Houle looking for some more finishes like this here at Jackaroo Stafford Motor Speedway. Let's go to Bruce Fontaine for a wrap-up of tonight's feature.